Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dan Harrison. I'm your host. This is NuPath Live. I was on vacation last week. I missed you all. And we have got a special episode in store today to make up for our week off. By the way, if you haven't had your vacation yet, take a few days off. It does wonders to recharge and renew the mind, body, and spirit. I highly recommend it. I wish I did it more. But today, as I said, we're going to be talking to our beloved CUBICS. And we recorded the interview a couple of hours ago. CUBICS is a busy T-Rex and had a lot of T-Rexing to do. And so we recorded it earlier, but I thought this was a good opportunity to maybe tell you, people who are not so familiar, to remind staff that are, just why it is that we use this symbol to represent NuPath, or why we talk about a dinosaur. So it all goes back to, it's been almost 6 years actually. Next month on the 29th will be the 6-year anniversary of our second annual celebration. And this was over at the Hilton here in Woburn. And this is when we introduced the concept. And what had happened the year before, we had introduced our 6 core values, but they had been in some random order. And I forget who it was that kind of did some, I think Greg actually, or I can't remember, who realized that by sorting it in a particular way, that those core values could be represented by the name CUBICS. And even though it seemed like an odd name to call a dinosaur, we thought we'd run with it. And over time, that has stuck. It helps me to remember the 6 core values, and we live by these. I believe very strongly in these being so paramount to our the work that we do in providing services for people with disabilities. Now, just to give you a little bit more behind the scenes story, this CUBICS came into our lives. We had baby pictures that we shared with people, and I have a picture of my old late father, who was one of the first people to hold CUBICS. And the poor guy right there, he's so embarrassed that I was making him hold this dinosaur that I'd purchased when I was in Indiana with my family. It was that's another whole story. I didn't know what I was going to do with it at the time, but this is what came to be. And that summer and leading up to the annual celebration, Annie took CUBICS around to all the different programs. We saw CUBICS as the helper, CUBICS as the gamer, posing for pictures. We had CUBICS as the rebel. Look at him smoking there. CUBICS as friend, went around to people posed for pictures. It's talk about a walk through time, seeing faces that are no longer with us. CUBICS getting connected, CUBICS staying connected. That was the theme of our annual celebration that year. And it was a fun one for sure. And now CUBICS resides in my office because it was kind of rough tour of duty when he went around to the different programs and kind of fell apart. But to this day, when we talk about CUBICS, it helps us remember what our core values: community, unity, belonging, innovation, collaboration, and sharing. And these are the things that we believe when we are working well as a team, when we are being successful, when we are helping the people that we serve and support to realize their full potential, to make life's journey happier, healthier, and more fulfilling. It's because those core values are working well, and we're working in synergy with one another. And when things break down, and when I hear about problems throughout the organization, I almost always pin it back to one of those core values coming off the rails one way or another. We're certainly not perfect at NuPath. We are some very well-intentioned humans that are doing our very best to do some very challenging work. But we keep trying, and we keep persevering, and we hold fast to those core values and principles that we feel guide us in providing exemplary service. So some of you may be wondering how we could be interviewing a dinosaur that lived 65 million years ago, but well, you have to see it to believe it. So let's watch the video and hear from CUBICS in our conversation that I had earlier today. There he is, CUBICS. You do talk, CUBICS, do you? Otherwise, this interview is going to be.
Yeah, no, I definitely talk.
Oh, yeah, you definitely do. You know, so I mean, some people out there may be wondering how we could be speaking with somebody that is, 65 million years old, but I guess we just tell these people to, suspend their disbelief and go with it.
Yeah, just go with it.
Just go with it.
Dating me, I am that old.
You are that old. You don't look it. You've aged very, very well.
I don't look a day over 64 million. I know.
64 million. You've got a good sense of humor too, CUBICS, which doesn't surprise me. I would expect that from a NuPath mascot. Now, some people out there may not know your name. CUBICS is an acronym for our core values. I don't want to put you on the spot, CUBICS, but did you know that you were named for NuPath's 6 core values?
I did, and I'm really glad that you didn't name me COVID. That's a way worse acronym.
That would be a way worse acronym. Because
no, I'm more about community, unity, belonging, innovation, collaborating, and sharing.
You got it right on the nose. You're smarter than I thought you'd be. I thought you'd be just trying to swat at flies or trying to eat anything you get your hands on. But you're pretty smart, huh?
I can do both. Yeah, I appreciate intelligence.
You appreciate that. You got a pretty big brain too. I guess in doing a little research, probably a little longer than the human brain, and you rose to the top of the food chain. But all of that stuff is aside. I wanted to get you on today to talk about this terrible pandemic, and more specifically about the vaccination problems that we're having. Have you been following the news? Is that something a T-Rex does these days, or do you have time, when you're not doing NuPath business?
That is, yeah, I am full-time at NuPath, but in my free time, I definitely have known to surf the internet and stay up to date with all the human ongoings.
Now, have you had a vaccine? Have you gotten the vaccine?
I have. They actually, just as part of phase 3, allowed dinosaurs to get it.
They did. Well, you're smart then, because we still have so many people that aren't vaccinated. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's very interesting because humans are existing on the same planet that me and my counterparts used to roam, and we got taken out. So this idea that you're invincible to something like COVID, to me, doesn't really make a lot of sense.
No. I suppose there wasn't a vaccine. You didn't have a Dr. Fauci 65 million years ago. Somebody that could kind of help, educate you, or a vaccine that would save you from a 17-mile wide meteor or asteroid.
It's interesting because if there was a vaccine to save us from that meteor, it sounds like some of us maybe wouldn't have still gotten it.
Yeah. So how do you explain this huge swath of our population that has just dug their heels and is refusing to be vaccinated?
I don't think there is any explanation for it. At the end of the day, we're on this earth now to take care of people, and that's why we got into this business. And by protecting ourselves with that shot, we can thus protect our population. So we do have a responsibility to do that. So it's kind of sad to hear NuPath's rate is only at 35% unvaccinated.
Yeah, we've seen a little uptick since 2 weeks ago, and I've got some data that I'll probably talk about. But there's this idea that I think the people unvaccinated, there's a sense that people are their own bosses, and they're not going to have anybody telling them what to do, and you're not going to have government telling me what to do, and don't tread on me, and this it's kind of it's a uniquely American idea, which can have some great benefits, but in the issue of public health, we've got problems when it gets to that. You mentioned that it's taking care of each other. How do you think getting the vaccine is about taking care of other people?
Well, first, it protects you from being able to hopefully spread it to anybody else. It minimizes the risk of you spreading it to anybody else. So by you actually taking the shot to protect yourself, you're mitigating your possibility of transmitting it to someone whose immune system maybe isn't as strong as yours. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting that you mentioned there are so many people who have so much pride in our country and want to fight for their country, but won't take a shot to protect their neighbor.
I I know. You know a little bit about evolution probably because things have evolved quite a bit over the last 65 million, not so much, but yeah, 65 million years. And this the way viruses work, apparently they're constantly mutating to become more deadly to their host. And the more unvaccinated people there are in the general population, the more opportunities this virus has. Each time it goes from host to host, it has an opportunity to better itself, to become more difficult to eradicate, to cause more serious health risks and kill more people. And that's what we're facing now, this Delta variant that is just been sweeping the nation and setting us back. And I gotta be honest, I'm feeling pretty grumpy these days about the fact that we're not going forward in the way that I wanted to. I don't know if there's a question there, but I'm just can you talk me off the ledge here a little bit because I'm about losing my mind that we still have over 100 people at NuPath that are not vaccinated. What should I do?
I hear you out, and it's definitely tough. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, someone who's been around for a long time. I thought I'd seen everything. But the fact that there's so much research and science out there that proves that this isn't some crazy conspiracy microchip thing going on, this is a actual shot that has been being worked on for a while since the humans were dealing with SARS, and this is now available, and the technology and the information's there. But as amazing as you humans are, you also have invented the internet, and there's a lot of misinformation. So I do have empathy for the people that are maybe finding the wrong sources. But
Yeah.
if you look in the right places at the actual data and information, it's very clear that this is safe to get and is now, again, a responsibility to protect your fellow humans around you.
CUBICS, do you? Maybe this is a silly question. I just am not that familiar with your personal life, but do you do Facebook at all? Or
Yeah, I dabble.
you dabble? What do you do much social media? Maybe it's
I do. It's hard with these, big hands and nails to scroll, but I do the best I can.
and your short arms probably that makes it tough too, right? You know the T-Rex and short arms. Well, I know that Facebook has been what's the word? People have talked about how much misinformation and disinformation is swirling through Facebook, and I've seen this in my own family, and people that are part of my family that have really, been, I don't say indoctrinated, but that's kind of how it feels. And and you can't. It's hard to argue with people that have a set idea. They seek out the information and the source and the version of the story that they've already chosen to believe, and without having a well-rounded, sort of source of information that's based in science and data, and in fact, it's these crazy conspiracy theories. You mentioned that earlier, and it just makes it hard to know how to even communicate with these people. But I think what's the writing's on the wall here, CUBICS. I think that pretty soon we're going to have no choice but to mandate vaccinations.
Yep,
I mean,
it sounds like we're definitely heading there.
yeah.
And I think a lot of people for so long were used to the personal choice of not getting something like a flu shot, but unfortunately, this is not the same as the flu.
Uh-huh. No, it's much more deadly. And of course, if you're just like on the lush tropical plains of the Cretaceous period, 65 million years ago, you probably didn't have to worry about governmental controls. But in this day and age, it's probably been a bit of a shock for you. I mean, the government, whether we like it or not, controls so much of our structured, civilized society. It's kind of like what makes our society work. I mean, if you had people that didn't follow traffic, laws, or didn't, we have to get driver's licenses. We have to put our kids in car seats. We have to put a seatbelts on. I mean, there's so many things that we have to do. What would you say to the person that says that it's their business if they want to get COVID, that they should be able to get it? I mean, I just think that, well, I guess we've already talked about it, but it affects so many people.
That person can't, unfortunately, enjoy the luxury of the society that they're living in. They shouldn't then be going out in public. They can't go enjoy eating out at a restaurant. And they certainly probably shouldn't be working with people who need their help, that they have made a pledge to by working with them to protect and take care of and support.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't have it both ways. And I get it. Governments definitely can be scary, but when you have scientists all over the world who have studied this and the information is there and you're choosing to listen to a Facebook post from your aunt in Kentucky, probably not the same level of information.
Probably not the same level. You know, you're cheering me up, Cubics. I want to thank you for doing that. I'm glad you brought it back to our population again, because I get kind of wound up around this whole, I don't know, just what to me appears to be so just insanity that this is happening. That we're ever that the debate is. I mean, the pandemic was bad enough. The virus was horrible. To think that the vaccine's causing this much trouble when this is our source of hope and health and healing, and that's not happening because of these people that have been, you know, I'll say it, indoctrinated by false information. But you brought it back to our people. So it's all about the health and safety of them. And you've represented for so many years our core values, you know, and if you think about each one of them in a way, I mean, community, we are one community. We are part of our community. That means being good, responsible citizens, which means getting the vaccine. Unity, I long for that. I feel like this has caused a bit of a division, and I want that to be, I want us to heal. Belonging, that we belong, we share the same mission, we share so many of the same values, that there should be this, you know, there should be this dividing line is troublesome to me. I don't know, innovation, well, the vaccine's innovative. I feel like I'm just talking too much now, but you get my point.
Well, you named me after it, so we're on the same page.
That's great. So what are you going to do, just to change the topic now a little bit? What's next for you and NuPath? I'm always worried that you're going to be like, you know, seeing the grass is greener on the other side of the fence or something. But are you as dedicated to NuPath as we are to you?
I'm definitely not going anywhere. I'm in it for the long haul.
You're in it for the long haul.
I've been in it for 65 million years, so what's another 65 million more?
Something tells me you'll be around a lot longer than I am then. You know.
Well, we'll have the vaccine, so probably.
Probably. So we were, you know, I'm just going to wrap it up after this, but I'm thinking about where we were going from here. You know, we had a campaign, Back to Better. We were going to do our walk in October. We were talking about, you know, so many initiatives that really were kind of predicated on this idea that we could finally throw off the shackles of the pandemic controls and restrictions. And now it sounds like we're sliding backward because of the spread of the Delta variants. But if all of that stuff wasn't happening, what would you think would be the most exciting things going on at NuPath? Because we have to still be thinking about the future, don't we?
We most certainly do. And we can't lose that hope. I mean, the walk was something that I was really excited about. Very big into walking. I don't think that NuPath and I've never worked with any other providers, I will say, but from what I've seen, is always doing more for their community, their people, their staff. That's exciting and creative and celebrates everyone. So I'm excited to see what we do next.
Do you have any dealings with Navigating Life? I might, as you said, it's probably hard to scroll and type with those claws, but.
Oh.
Okay.
Forgive
You're
me.
not going to eat that cat, are you?
What?
Oh, I thought you were going to eat that cat. I didn't want to see
I'm
it.
actually vegetarian now.
Oh.
I've learned to live with other animals. I evolve.
Oh, my heart stopped. I thought you were going to tear that cat from stern to stem and eat it.
No, I'm a changed CUBICS.
Oh, good. Good, thank God. So, Navigating Life.
Yeah, that would probably be one of the things I'm the most excited about, that I've been happy to be a part of for this whole journey, and excited to see where Navigating Life goes next. There's such an opportunity with this technology to connect us further, and it really does, if you think about it, also incorporate all the core values of NuPath, which makes up your wonderful CUBICS here. There's such an opportunity now more than ever to use technology to better connect us, to share the right information, and to make sure we're all on the same page and transparent and working together as a team, because that's the only way we're going to get through anything this difficult.
That's right. Well, that is a great way to wrap this up, Cubics. Thank you for bringing it back to, being one NuPath and being united in this. We can get through anything. We can get through challenges. You made it 65 million years, and we like that kind of tenacity, and it's a pretty good shelf life when you think about it.
Not bad.
Not bad. All right, Cubics, thank you so much for your time. I'm sure people really enjoyed. Could we invite you back another time sometime just to check in? It was really awfully nice to talk to you.
Anytime. I'm a member of the team, so whatever you guys need me to do, I'm there.
You are awesome. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Well, I don't know about you. I don't know about you, but I was enjoying that myself, even though I was part of it the first time around. I tell you, I didn't know. I thought Cubics was going to go after that cat. That looked like lunch to me. Well, through Cubics' eyes, but luckily, as Cubics said, a changed dinosaur. So you may be sick of hearing me talk about the vaccine, but you're going to have to keep hearing me talk about the vaccine until we have everyone at NuPath vaccinated. I want to pull up the statistics that we looked at last week. We are going to be looking so carefully at these numbers, and I mean, I want to hear like a bell ring for every time a staff person gets vaccinated. 2 weeks ago, we were at 63.5% fully vaccinated employees at NuPath. As of yesterday, we have we've seen an increase that is excellent. It's some of that was that staff had been vaccinated and had not gotten us their cards. Some cases, some people did get vaccinated. Well, it represents an increase of 23 staff over last week, and that's an increase of 6.9%. So we're moving in the right direction. Scientists tell us that we need to really be, closer to 85% for this virus to begin to no longer be the threat that it is. And but I think that we're going to be looking at something that is much closer to 100% vaccinated. And here's why. Of the 107 people that are unvaccinated, I look at this list of people. I know many of the people on that list. And if you're watching today, I want to just tell you that I care about you. I care about you as much as I care about the vaccinated staff. And I don't understand the reasons why particular people choose or have decided that this is not something that they are willing to do for the health and well-being of the entire organization and our nation and our world. And I have really had to kind of set aside my personal feelings and focus on my primary responsibility as the president and CEO of this organization. And that job is to protect the health and well-being and the safety of the clients we serve and our employees. And if I am not insisting upon 100% vaccination for this organization, then I'm not doing my job. And it makes me so sad. It does. I feel sad more than anything that this kind of division has exposed this gap in our organization. We've for so long prided ourselves in feeling that we are one NuPath. We have so many common goals and beliefs and commitments, and yet fully nearly a third of our employees are refusing to do what I have determined to be necessary for this organization. Now, I don't want to control your lives, but it just may become that this may not be the place for you if you are unwilling to get vaccinated. Anyway, I think that's going to become a moot point for a couple of reasons, because even before we are able to probably determine that we're moving to a mandatory vaccination policy, I think that the state probably will be. We're moving in that direction. 2 hours ago, Governor Baker signed an order that is mandating 42,000 state workers be fully inoculated against COVID. That includes boosters when they become available. They have until October 17th to do this, and it pertains to every employee, regardless of whether they're working in person with clients, whether they're telecommuting and working from home virtually. We have received a statement from SEIU 509 that is robust support of this, and the union sees this as being something that is paramount to the safety and well-being of the people that we support. I know this has caused some pain for people. If you are not vaccinated, I'm sure that you feel that my words now are maybe a personal assault, and I want to assure you nothing could be further from the truth. Each person alive has the right to their own beliefs. I don't have any desire to control or to force you to believe one way or the other, but the facts for this organization, for the job that we are called to do, demand that we're all vaccinated. There's a metaphor that's used frequently in business of the carrot and stick. You're all familiar with it. I've always been much more interested in the carrots. That is, what are the things that we can use to help shape behavior by using rewards and incentives. And I've got one last carrot that I'm going to be kind of bringing out into the into public next week for all staff that are vaccinated. That I hope will make a difference for some people that are on the fence. And after that point in time, we'll be looking at sticks. We'll be looking at the stick. And I suddenly sounds like an ugly metaphor, but of course, you know, I'm not talking about any real violence. I'm talking about consequences for the decisions that you make if you choose and you defy the need to be vaccinated. I know that we have the legal right to do so. We've been very reticent or resisting that we come to that. When the vaccine first came out, I had this notion, this fantasy that NuPath was going to kind of rise from the, you know, stand out from the rest of organizations that were struggling. We're right almost exactly where the rest of the population is, and it's not good enough. It's not good enough, and we're not able to return to the business that we're called to do, and the responsibility that we have to serve our disabled clients and their families. And we can't go on like this anymore. So not to end on a low note, because I should have that was a fun interview. It was great to talk to CUBICS. But this is about me being very clear and completely transparent about where I'm coming from here, why we're making the decisions that we're making, and how your behavior, your decisions impacts the larger organization. And as I said before, if I wasn't willing to make this the issue that it is, then I wouldn't be doing my job, and I wouldn't be advocating to the best of my ability for our staff and the clients. So if you're vaccinated, thank you. Thank you so much. Now it sounds like boosters around the corner. If you're unvaccinated, we love you. We hope that we'll get you to reconsider. But if not, you maybe need to think about what you're going to do in this post-pandemic world where many, many more places are going to be requiring the vaccine and vaccine passports probably at some point. All right, everybody, we got this. Let's get it together. I have faith in you, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye, everyone.